guys, welcome. Today it's gonna be a little bit different. We want to take a look at the documented case of a haunting, and it's actually been documented by Jonis326. I put the link to the original document into the description, so you can read it up just as you want. Jonis starts off with saying, I'm going to start from the beginning. I bought a new home built in 2016, back last August. We needed to move as our current home at the time was way too small for the new one on the way. So I think he's talking about the baby. We had put in an offer in July and started moving in by mid-August. Not too long after moving everything, I put our old home on the market. Within 24 hours. We had a wonderful offer and it was sold 30 days later. Pretty epic. I used the money to furnish the new home as it was much bigger and had to buy lighting fixtures, fans, as there were none in the rooms. I installed these between. Okay. We don't care for the writing too much. It's all about the story that is important here. So then we jump to September and October where he says, Sep, my little one, was born. So September. Between September and December we had family in and out, as he was the first male of the next generation to carry on the name. January I suppose, was just everyday grind and nothing specific happened during the time. During all of the time stated before, nothing specifically memorable happened as to remember exact dates. Okay, I did have a few occasions of hearing something drop in the home, but I would say that could always happen, right? You all know that. That's you just hear something drop and it's weird. I can remember being in the master bedroom, laying in bed and hearing something drop in the master bathroom shower. It sounded like a shampoo bottle had fallen in the shower, and when I went to check, nothing was on the floor or out of place. I remember myself waking up sometimes in the middle of the night and hearing something drop, and then I could not find anything, so I don't know. Could also be a neighbor. We had a couple of occurrences where we were watching TV in the living room and I had heard something fall in the master bedroom. This area is carpeted, so this did sound different from the other times. And when I checked, nothing was out of place. That is quite odd. Even the shadows out of corner of my eye did not stand out, as I just figured it was because I wasn't familiar with the corners of the new home. In the old home, built 2006, nothing ever happened either. I don't know what to say to that. The February hits and it starts getting crazy. I was asleep one day and I had someone sit on the side of the bed. Thinking it was my wife coming to wake me up, I opened my eyes. No one was there. It freaked me out so much. So we can already tell it's getting a little bit weirder, right? This next occurrence is when it really started getting nerve-wracking. I remember this day so vividly. I have proof of this day. This day sits with me and I cannot get it out of my head. When this happened, I was at work. It was March the 5th. My wife woke up to get ready for work and we were texting when this happened. He then posts 3 pictures, at which we will take a look at in a second. And then he also has a video that was recorded while all of this was happening. This is the first screenshot he had taken, and it actually starts at 6:18. Everything else was before. He must be asking his wife, are you home? And she says no. And then he's like, well, now I'm scared. What happened? Dogs were barking at something at the door and I heard something say, would you stop? And then you're kidding, of course, because done feeding baby, checking now, don't see anyone. Maybe dogs scared them away. No, they were at the garage door, pantry, laundry room. So, a little bit awkward. Next screenshot. Then I don't freaking know. Nobody was in the garage. Laundry room. I checked the garage. There's a camera. They remember? I know. Nothing. So he must have checked it several times. Could not find the source of the noise. Let's jump back to the text where he says, here is the video of what happened. So this video also got recorded while all of this was taking place, I suppose. If you listen closely, between 10 to 12 seconds, you can hear what sounds like, will you stop? If anyone is good at correcting audio and can take out the white noise to clear it up, I would love to hear that clearer. I don't know if you can hear well, but let's just try to see if we can make out anything strange. I did not necessarily. Let's listen through it again. Maybe it's just super silent. I mean, you can hear something in the background. I'm not necessarily sure what exactly it is that he's talking about, but he's sure. The voice says, "Will you stop?" So, by this time I was off in roughly an hour, so I decided to stay at work to finish off my shift. When I did get home again, systematically went through every room, checking every nook and cranny. I even checked the attics, and nothing. With the last occurrence, I thought someone was in my home, hiding somehow. Either some weird invisibility or something, and was determined to get to the bottom of it. I ordered a small thermal camera from Amazon and got it a day or so later. Maybe a smart idea just to, install some and see what's going on. Sometimes these things can pick different energies, I would say, up that we humans just can't see. So the moment I received the camera, I went through the entire home, looking everywhere to see if anything stood out, but I found nothing. A few days later, I went to use the camera again and it was broken. And no matter what you did, even restarting it multiple times, it didn't go away and I returned it. After that, nothing happened at all for 2 weeks. But then on March the 30th, he wakes up at 2 a.m. extremely thirsty and decided to go to get waters from the pantry. I grabbed 2 of them, and when I get back to the bedroom, I chuck one of them and put the other one on the nightstand. And he has a recording of that. He goes on and says, "The video gives context to what I said and adds to the timeline. And you'll see why in a bit. I lay back down in bed and started to try to get comfortable again to fall back asleep." So this is him. Don't know if there's audio to it. This is the night vision camera he had set up in his apartment, which should show him just grabbing the drinks. I don't think this holds anything weird. It's really just there for context for us to understand what was going on. He then says, "As I'm laying there, I hear someone say 'hey' in a very audible whisper directly in my ear. For a split second I thought my wife woke up with all of what I was doing, but quickly realized that was not the case and I sprung up so fast in bed and turned on my nightstand light. I was so freaked out and I didn't know what to do. I remembered I had a Ghost Radar app on my phone and pulled it up to see if anything pertinent came up and got this right away." So he took another screenshot of it right away. If you look at the first word it picked up at the bottom, water. That's creepy. So let's look at the words. So this must be all of them. It started with water at 2:16, then was, Alan, August, fish, audience, off, silent, and loco. I don't know the significance of any of the other words, but that whatever was with him in his apartment picked up on him getting the water and put it into his Ghost Radar app is pretty terrifying if you ask me. He goes on by saying, "I was thoroughly freaked the hell out at this time. I stayed in bed and had turned on my phone light instead, as to not wake the wife. I waited until I went to work Sunday night to start looking on what to do about my current situation. I looked up psychics in my area and saw an individual with high reviews and sent her a message that night," which is a good idea, I think, right? If you really are victim to a haunting, you have never experienced anything like it, it might help just getting some professional help with it, at least in my opinion. She got with me that morning and we set up a meeting Friday the 5th. After meeting with her, I realized her reviews were fake and she was too. Which, unfortunately, is also the reality of things, that many people don't really have a gift, don't really how to handle those things, and just are doing it because of the money. Next, he goes on. He says, "I was asleep, laying there, trying to go back to sleep when I thought I heard something say, 'help me,' twice in a row. The reason I didn't post about that was because I had my kiddo asleep in the room and my wife was still up making noise in the kitchen. I could not for sure identify if that was what it was. It also came from the left side of the room, and every other occurrence has been on my side of the bed, so I'm not sure. April 28th. I had another occurrence of someone talking near my right ear again. I'm not sure why I even woke up besides having to pee. I didn't want to move, as I was quite comfortable and just decided to lay there. We know that feeling. The way I was laying, my left ear was catching all of the noise from the one side of the room. Humidifier from the kiddo breathing, the wife breathing. Okay, so we have several other sounds that we have to be aware of. My right ear was catching nothing from the other side of the room. All I heard was dead silence. Then all of a sudden I heard a deliberate whisper, but didn't actually make out words this time. It could have been hey. It also could have been just breathing out of the mouth to the point where it sounded like a word. Maybe a lost soul, but why would that be the case? I mean, the home was built just a couple of years prior, right? So it doesn't really add up to me at this point. He then goes on and says, before I put the EVPs I have caught in my home, I have a clip I caught on my camera, 1080p DVR system. I thought I saw something in the doorway to the left of the video, so I got up to check the DVR, and this is what I saw. If you look between the launch chair on the right and the wall on the floor at 8 to 9 seconds, it looks like a foot. Then at the same time, next to the cup on the center island, you see an orb near the cup. Then at 11 seconds there is a mass of some kind near my son's head. This is the video he's talking about. He had put it. Just go through it. So let's just look for the foot. Around here, next to the launch chair. Oh. There's definitely something popping up. Not sure what it was though. Definitely something, right? I mean, you guys can replay it as many times as you. There are some weird light occurrences, sure. Which is weird, like if you add it all up together, right? But not necessarily proof that something really strange is going on. It could be dust, it could be anything. He then says, I decided to get a sound recorder around April 25th and started recording April 28th in the room while I was sleeping. Also the living room. I have caught many of EVPs. I have quite a wide variety of different voices that all have been caught in my home. I will post a few here so you can understand what I have been hearing. He lists the links to the sound files at which we will listen to right now. I have them all here. First clip apparently says, can you, boss, sit down and order me a drink? And that's actually hard to understand. Let's just listen to it again. Alright, possibly. Alright, you don't know at this point. Second one says language not known to me. So the important detail again to note is that he says later, I think, that he's alone and that nobody else was with him at the time, and that all of these noises are not stemming from a television of some sorts, because that's what I thought first time I read this. So this track says this one, so we listen. I think behind the snoring you can totally get this one. Yeah. It's hard to get though. And the next is, did you find it? Find it. The next one will say, I miss it. Translated from Southern means do not wait. That is pretty clear. Terrifying. You guys have a better idea of what that could mean. So if you have any clue, if you hear other things, please post them in the comments, guys. Please post them. The next one is welcome, Kaiko Kaze. Oh damn, that is almost a class A. I don't necessarily hear Kaiko Kaze. I hear welcome to the abyss. It could definitely an older female's voice. This one says, we're here, alright, help. Okay, so maybe I got that wrong. So maybe his wife is also sleeping next to him. I'm not sure, but we hear the sleeping noises and can make the voice out. In the background, which is I still find terrifying. So let's listen at the second last one, which will say, definitely says dad. Dad. Yes. Dad. This is a kid. Dad. This is crazy. I mean, he later states that his child is too young, so his own son cannot talk yet, so it can definitely not be him. And this one, to my 8-year-old son, I love you, okay? Me too, I kiss him. Help you out. Okay, so I think that must be him talking to his son, which cannot talk, obviously. And then the energy replying with me too, and then he goes ahead and kisses his infant, as far as I understand that. This is awkward. I mean, who would not freak out at this point, right? This is certainly nothing normal. In the end, he only says, I have a lot of more EVPs, but I did want to keep it to 10 or less. I feel they were some of the most strong ones I have gotten. Also, I have been getting a lot of dads recently. My son isn't even 9 months yet and hasn't said his first words. His voice also sounds a lot like an 8 to 10-year-old boy, not a newborn going da 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 like they tend to do, and he's right about that. Also, I have on video a door slamming closed while I was the only one home. I would have to dig through the DVR to get it, but I remember the day and all. So if you are interested, I can find it for you. Please let me know what you think of all of this, because I don't know. I need help, Jonas says. And yeah, guys, what do you think? Isn't that a terrifying but yet interesting case? Give him a like, share this. Also leave a like to this video, please. If you enjoyed this, please consider becoming a member, guys. Joining the member button. I would appreciate that. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think this is real? Do you think this is something explainable? Would you like to see more of that? A live reaction, going through haunted cases and just giving them our 2 cents. Stay frosty, guys, and see you soon.